and
got
then
enough.
send that to me afterwards then.
All right, so I think let's go ahead and get this party started. Thank you, ladies, for waiting, and for the newcomers. Hopefully we'll get a few more lovely ladies in a few minutes. But I wanted to thank you very much for joining us. Lovely Dawn Bates. We have author coach and business strategist, along with Karen Baines, is the conscious wealth creator. So this event got my attention because I was the first thing to see was masturbation. I was like, what is this money mindset? So I don't know about you ladies, but that's what caught my eye. And I was like, I gotta come to this. But no pun intended. Okay.
She knows where my mind went.
Okay, I'm going to open the floor up to Dawn and Karen. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. As Mel so lovely introduced us. We're going to go, we've got like a format that we're going to go through. So we're going to be talking about like the broken, not broken. We're going to be going through scarcities. We're going to be going through like things like obligation and responsibilities, sharing a little bit about our own journeys. We're going to be looking at how we understand our true value, and all the stories we tell ourselves and get told by the coaching industry, and the financial people, and why people like myself who didn't do numbers, I did words and people, and I would run from numbers because I was not very good at maths at school. I was like, why have you got all these letters in the sums? Surely it should all be numbers, right? Why are there letters? Let's go in books, not in maths. So I used to run from numbers, and I will share with you my journey, as well as things that I've learned after 20 business, how we had it all, lost it all, and now building it all again, and the curveballs that hit us along the way. So that's what.
Whoa. Okay, it's only Dawn frozen. So let's pick up where we lost Dawn, because I think Dawn's internet might be a little bit clunky. Okay, so yeah, I'm Karen, and I've only recently hooked up with Dawn. Oh, she's back. Are you back?
I'm back. Where did
you
you
lose
lose
Do you want
me?
to? Yeah, I don't know. Like, we switched off. Don't worry, it's fine. Yeah, I want to. Dawn and I have only recently met. It feels like we've known each other forever, but we literally have only fairly recently, in the last couple of months, met. But we both decided really quickly that we wanted to come together and do so. We didn't even know what it looked like, but do some sort of collaboration and have this conversation. And behind closed doors, like in the comfort of my own group. Hey there. I mentioned motivation. Hang on, darling. Can you mute yourself? Just joined. There we go. Perfect. I'm getting feedback. Oh, we've got some more people coming in, guys. There we go. So one of the earlier conversations that Dawn and I had, I mentioned the thing that I call mindset masturbation. And when she'd recovered from laughing, we talked a bit more about it. But it's actually, I mean, it's funny, but it's actually a really serious thing. There's a really serious side to it, because I myself, why I feel so strongly about this particular subject, is that I was stuck in what I call mindset masturbation for about 2 years. And it was kind of, in a way, the catalyst that had me redirect and kind of break through that barrier and teach and coach what I teach and coach now. And so I think maybe if I talk a little bit about what mindset masturbation is, so that you're actually clear on it, so then you're in a position to actually do something about it if it's something that you something that you are engaging in a little bit too often, you know. So is that okay with you, Dawn?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely, go for
yeah.
it.
So let me talk about that and what that's all about. We all love Abraham, right? I bet everybody in this room has listened to a bit of Abraham. Loves being in the vortex. Loves being in the vortex. Does maybe journaling. Maybe journaling is your thing. Maybe creative visualization is your thing. Bloody vision boards. Like maybe you love a vision board, right? Maybe that's where you're at. Maybe that's the stuff that you do. Maybe it's just, maybe it's mindfulness meditation. Now, all of that has absolutely got its place. Absolutely, it's got its place, and I'm not dissing it. But they're out in, like, in our industry, in the coaching industry, in the conscious creator industry, where people are really aware of, like, universal law and the law of attraction and how we create our own experience. In that world, there is a lot of, they're myths that you can literally humana yourself to 10K, 20K, 6-figure businesses, 7-figure, and you absolutely can't. You can't. That will not happen.
But you can, Karen. Absolutely, you can. All you have to do is click your fingers, and tomorrow you're going to get 50 grand drop in your bank account.
No, you're not. And here's why.
How have I got it wrong?
Here's why. Because when you're doing what I call the happy thought thinking, when you're in that space, you're at the 4th dimension. So we're 3rd dimensional beings, we're physical beings. Yeah, we're infinite beings that are occupying a physical body, right? That's
We've got some feedback. I don't know where that's coming from. There's someone, Sarah, with the, if we could put her on mute.
I'm not sure if I don't know if I can mute everybody.
Yeah, she's already muted. Thank you, Sarah.
Oh, really? Thank you, Sarah, love. So we're a physical being. We're an infinite being that is occupying a physical body, right? We've chosen a human experience, a physical experience. That's the 3rd dimension, right? Then you've got the 4th dimension, which is your thoughts, which connect to the emotions, the energy, if you will. And that's the bridge. That 4th dimension is the bridge between the physical body, your doings, your practical steps, and the 5th dimension, which is where the laws are, where the universal laws are, you know, and the Akashic records, if that's your thing, right? So the universal laws include the law of attraction, which is one of the laws that governs us.
There are 12 of them.
Yeah, so this particular law is, I translate it as the universe says yes. So when you send out, when you broadcast an energy, the universe assumes that you want it, you want more of it, and it brings you more opportunities for it. But that actually happens at a physical level. Your 4th dimension, your thoughts, okay, darling, your 4th dimension affects thoughts. So if you want to create more happy thoughts, then go ahead and do happy thoughts. But if you want more money in your bank account, which is actually a physical thing, money is a physical thing, right? We live in a digital world, and I get that money is digital, but that's very recent. Money in and of itself is a physical thing that you use to buy physical things, material things, or experiences that you can put your physical body into. And if you want more physical money in your bank account to have an abundant physical experience, the part of you that is going to affect the physical experience isn't happy thought thinking, It's the energy underneath your physical doings, underneath the things that you're doing. So you're going to feel great connecting to the fifth dimension.
Manifesting.
Yeah, that's going to feel fabulous. But nothing's actually going to change in your physical experience until you are doing energetically aligned things, grounding it, practicality.
But isn't it about being, not about doing? Telling me I'm broke. If I'm not doing this like the way it's supposed to be, then I'm broken, right? And if I don't sign up now, then I'm gonna, and then that's putting me in fear.
I get
all this fear, and I have to buy it now, because if I don't buy it now, I'm gonna miss out. Like, yeah, come on.
So then, if you do that thing, you're actually broadcasting fear energetically, and the universe then assumes that you want fear. You're operating from a place of fear. You're assigning value with money to something because you are afraid. The universe doesn't read the money you're spending or what you're spending it on. It reads the energy underneath that purchase. It reads fear. And it says, oh, Dawn must absolutely love being in fear because she's assigning value to it with her money. She's choosing it. So let's give her more and more reasons to feel fear, to be afraid. That's how it works. That's how it works. And that's the gap. That's where people fall down. That's where people fall down. Okay?
And this is one of the things
You're not broken. And I'm going to hand back to Dawn to tell us why we are not broken. And we don't need fixing.
None of us need fixing, because we're all whole and complete as we are. Now, those of you that that know me and have probably seen some of my posts promoting this, I will have shared some stuff with you. There's a couple of ladies on here, Sarah, Owen and Kay, who have known me for a few years. I first met Sarah on a camping trip just after I'd got divorced. We were in the Welsh Mountains in Barmouth, beautiful campsite. And I didn't know this woman at all, but she just knew, and Karen's just been speaking to us about energy. Sarah knew that I needed a hug. You know, I'd just come out of an 18-year marriage. I'd got the boys with me, and here I was surrounded by Sarah and her family, all loved up. And, you know, and I mean, Zeke, her little boy, is my new boyfriend. I don't know. Anyway, distraction overload. That little boy was going to phone me, never did, by the way. So I'm going to hold him to that. But the thing is, when we project these energies out into the world, we attract certain things. We all know that when we walk into a room, we can tell if somebody's had a row or whether they've had hot steaming sex, right? You can tell, you can pick up on this energy. And you all know, and this is the thing, it's like there are certain things that come into our life. And one of the things that has really done my head in over the years is people like, oh, you've called this in, you've called this in, you've called this in. You know, yeah, I called in the Egyptian uprising because I have that much power. No, I went to live out in Egypt and the Egyptian uprising happened and I was there. You know, I called in the divorce probably because I evolved and we both changed, went in different directions. You know, and there are certain things that happen.
Oh gosh, we haven't lost her again. Oh, there she is. Thank goodness. You're back.
Oh, have you lost me again? It's a good job you're the host, isn't it?
Second, so you can just carry on. You're talking about the rising.
Yeah, so the thing is like we
oh, God.
And have you lost me again?
No, you're back. It's just a bit going.
I'm in South America, what can I say, you know? I called in bad internet today, obviously. But this is the thing, like we're always told that if we're not writing down, this is my money goal, okay, I want to have 20 grand in my bank account by the end of the month, and we do not receive it, then this is wrong. And it's like, well, actually, to go from one place to another, you actually have to go on that journey. I cannot walk into a holodeck, as in Star Trek. Those of you who are as old as me and understand Star Trek, it's not like work that needs to be done, and there's stuff that we need to release from our own energetic field. For example, I have gone through the thing of coming from a family where we were working our backsides off. We were farmers. You know, my parents were like, do not get ideas above your station. You know, we don't live in places like that. You know, the money stories that we had were so scarce. Like, you know, money doesn't grow on trees. Who do you think we are? Rothschild. You know, there wasn't enough money for the kids to have birthday party, but there was always enough money for my dad's fishing tackle. There was never enough money for really nice clothes all the time, but there was always money for cigarettes, you know. And that's kind of like, it was like, I'm not important, I'm not valuable enough. And we're going to value towards the end of this webinar. But the thing is, these things that condition us, you know, if we're not achieving this, then we're being told by peers or friends, or we're being told by parents or society that we're actually not good enough. But we're all on our own individual journeys, and life happens. I mean, it's the way we deal with it and how we choose to see it. I mean, I always say that, you know, there is this whole thing that things don't happen to us, they happen for us. Because when we say it happens to us, we put ourselves in a state of being a victim. And when we say it's happened to me and we become a victim, then we radiate that energy. I can't do this. Well, you probably can't do it right now, but when we add the 3-letter word of yet, I can't do it yet, then we keep the gates open for possibility and opportunity. My ex-husband had a brain tumor. Well, that was really serious. We lost a huge amount of income overnight. But what we then did, we actually used that to start to understand the brain. And 20 years later, having studied neuroscience, because I'm a bit of a geek and the hospital leaflets just weren't good enough for me, I'm afraid. There was not enough information in there. I studied neuroscience and neurolinguistic programming, and that's now helping me years down the line with my coaching and with my own energy levels and the things that I believe about myself. So although it was a sad thing that happened, it wasn't the fact that he was broken, it wasn't the fact that we called that brain tumor in, although going on holiday with my parents might have been the stress factor there, but that's a different story. But, you know, and it's about how we actually see things in our life and how we become victims of it. You know, lots of women, we get lots of other women criticizing us or judging us, or, you know, putting stuff on us, and there's all this heaviness of we can't be the woman that we were born to be because we will outshine another woman, or we think that they're better than us, and we go into what Karen also calls comparisonitis. Love that word. We should write a book together, Karen. We've got so many.
Oh, don't you start.
That's what I do. I get people to write their books. But again, none of us are broken. We're just at a different place on our journey. And we have this thing about obligation and responsibility. We all have responsibilities that we have to pay for in life, say food, shelter, clothing. We have these responsibilities, we have children. But when we come back to self, what is our responsibility to ourselves as we go on this journey? And now I'm going to hand back to Karen, because she's got something very cool that she likes to talk about obligation. And I love the way she describes this. So over to you, Miss Baines.
Okay, is this where I'm going to talk about my not so Fab 4 family?
Yes.
This is where you want me to talk about? Okay. All right then. So I want you to imagine that your business or your life, whatever it is that you're creating, that's the thing. Whatever kind of abundance you want in your life is what you're creating. Could be relationship, I don't know, okay? But I always say that money is a happy byproduct of alignment, right? So whatever it is that you're creating is your version of abundance. Okay. And I want you to imagine that whatever that looks like for me and my clients, it's business. It's our businesses, it's our money. All right. I want you to imagine that your business is your party. Your life is your party. You are having an amazing party and you want amazing people there, right? So I'm going to introduce you to the family that you do not want to invite to your party. Okay. Obligation, sacrifice, resentment, and guilt. They are your not so fab four family. Okay. Remember how universal law works. When you do something that vibrates to a certain energy, the universe responds with, yes, here you are, have some more. This must be what you want. If you choose obligation, have to, must do, should do, got to. That's how you know you're doing obligation. Anything that you feel that you must do. When you choose that energy, you're saying that you want obligation in your life, and the universe gives you more of that. Obligation is like the big bully brother, the big bully bad brother of the whole tribe, always shouting at everybody and telling everybody what to do. Okay? Along with obligation, hand in hand is like the twin sister, if you like, of obligation, is sacrifice. Why? They go everywhere together. They're inseparable. Because obligation means that you're doing something you don't really want to do. And if you're doing something you don't really want to do, you're sacrificing what you do want. You're saying, I'm not worthy. I don't value myself and my experience enough to choose what's right for me. So immediately you do obligation, you're inviting sacrifice. Okay? You do anything long enough that you don't really want to do and you sacrifice what you do want, you're going to resent it. So here's where we meet resentment, right? Resentment's like your passive aggressive party guest, right? All contracted and angry and cranky. And I've got to do this, just like building up that pressure of anger. And it's really contracted, okay? And then you've got guilt, the quiet one, the one that wheedles in.
Assassin.
It's like, yeah, totally, absolutely. I love that. The silent assassin, the one that kind of coerces you and makes you believe that it manipulates you and has you believe that you're doing the right thing. The quiet ones are always the worst, right?
Absolutely. Mama guilt's one of them.
And I want you to imagine that by doing these obligations in your life or your business, by doing these things you don't want to do, you're inviting the whole family in. You're sending out invitations to these energies into your life and your business. Okay? Now, why do these resonate to abundance? Why do they resonate to money? Why are they like the opposite of money? Because money is how we assign value, right? In the human experience, we buy things with money. When we do that, we're saying, I value this thing or this experience enough that I want it in my life and I'm going to pay for it, right? It's how we assign value. If you're doing obligation, sacrifice, resentment, or guilt, you're actually not valuing yourself. You're not valuing yourself. You're not valuing your experience. You're saying energetically to the universe, I'm not worthy. I do not deserve. You're choosing a less than experience, and that is not what you were designed for. You're the creator and the generator of your life. You can have and do and be anything you want. When you choose to do things you don't really want to do, you're not vibrating abundance. You're not vibrating money at all. And then because universal law is what it is, because the law of attraction that governs us, like attracts like, the universe says yes, however you want to put it, When you invite these guys to your party, they start texting and phoning all their like-minded buddies. And before you know it, you've got a house full. You've got a house full of obligation, sacrifice, resentment, and guilt. Because that's what you say you want. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Who wants to go to that freaking party? You're not going to want to be there. You're not going to want to be there. I don't want to be there. And here's the thing. Money doesn't want to be there. Abundance doesn't want to be there, because abundance, money, whatever it looks like for you, operates at the other end of a spectrum, of that spectrum. It is directly opposite. So you are not inviting the friends of money, and you're not inviting money when you're doing those energies. So like, these are the things you need to get better friends. You've got to uninvite these guys. And remember, that's a doing. It's not doing your mindset masturbation, like 10, 15 minutes a day of spiritual practice is a good thing. Any more than that, you got to stop. Because that's one of the places you're making what I call misaligned choices. They're misaligned to money. You're spending too much time at fourth dimension and not enough time on creating what you say you want. Right?
Karen, right? But
will you
surely
stop arguing with me?
no, but this is the thing, right? You know, we see all these people saying, but you need to do all this journal here. Like, I mean, I send out all my clients these journaling questions, and I have a list of money mindset questions or money journaling questions. But it's about them getting present to what they believe about money. Mm-hmm. And I always say to them, read them, process them, allow the mind to do it whilst you're taking aligned action. And I like to use the analogy, I want a cup of coffee or I want a cup of tea. I can sit there and, as you say, do the humana. I want a cup of tea. I want a cup of tea. But unless I get off my ass and go and get the cup of tea, I'm not going to get a cup of tea. Unless I actually make the sales and make the contact and do the networking, which people do not know how to do these days. We think that we can put these posts out on Facebook or on LinkedIn or wherever it is, and we're not following up with direct messages. And then the moment we do follow up with a direct message, I myself had some people go, why have you messaged me? Well, sorry, but you're in my garden, you're in my neighborhood. You've asked to come in my space, and now you're upset that I've messaged you. And this is the thing, when we invite these horrible party guests to our party, it's like looking at the people who are in our space. Are the people that are in our space, are they positive people? Are they abundant people? Are they positive? Are they people that are looking at possibility? Or are these people bringing us down? Or are they resenting the fact that we're getting ahead in life? Now, recently I had somebody tell me, because those of you who don't know, I went through a really awful experience 5 years ago, and it cost me dearly. I entered into a relationship and it was one curveball after the other. That relationship had to go. I had a very dear friend who blessed me, and I had another very dear friend who blessed me with the air to breathe. And if I hadn't have had those friends who believed in me and actually supported me through that process, some people supported me with legal advice, some people supported me with money, some people supported me with hugs. You know, friends came round to my home that I had back then and just said, Dawn, take a break, breathe. We end up running so fast and so far because we are so desperate to get out of situations that when we are running, we attract all the negative people that want to keep us small a lot of the time. And I remember recently one person said to me, my dream is going to fail because of you. And I'm like, our dreams only fail because we are the ones that fail to take action. And if I keep these people in my life, because they see me writing for magazines, they see that I'm an international best-selling author, that I'm an author coach and business strategist, and I'm creating all of this abundance in my life, they've got that resentment. And those people, they're what I call a silent saboteurs. And those that have been following me will know I always say environment is everything. Every single new moon, I go through my social media list. Are these people in alignment with me? Are these people resonating with me? How am I feeling? Because the thing is, I call it the party test. If I was to invite the people in my social media space to a party and they said yes, how does my body respond? Is it like, oh God, they said yes? Why have I invited them? Is it through a sense of obligation? If I've invited them to the party and they've gone, oh my God, they've said yes, get rid of them or put them at a distance. If the conversations we're having with these people are the same conversations and there's no growth and there's no inspiration, I have a phrase that I like to, if it doesn't bring me inspiration, income, or an orgasm, I don't want it in my life, right? That is the rule of thumb. Now, as a single lady, that can be quite challenging sometimes, but not all the time. But the thing is that we're talking about party guests, and the people in your space need to be the right guests at your party. You need to have people who will encourage you. Now, I've had friends, so-called friends from the past, say, all you do, Dawn, is faff around on boats, writing words all day. Oh, thanks, nice. Okay, you're no longer going to be in my space. I don't want you in my space because all you're doing is putting me down, and you might think that you're just having a laugh, but having a laugh has sometimes got a very negative energy attached to it. And it's not just about what they've said, it's how they've said it. Now, my second book was called Wallahi. Now, this is a great word because Wallahi is an Arabic word, and when you use it, you can go Wallahi and then laugh about it. It means seriously, or what the fuck. But if you use it in Islamic Arabic, it means swear to God. Okay, now we all know that when we go seriously, we can be having a laugh with our friends, or we could be in complete shock, right? Larika, you said you get bad vibes from people in your network too, not that they have done anything to make it. Honestly, if you're getting bad vibes from these people, get rid of them. Get rid of them. Absolutely. Without effect, without shadow of a doubt, get rid of them. Because the thing is, the people who know you and the people who believe in you, I'm very blessed to have people like Kay in my life because she's been one of my biggest cheerleaders, right? Yes, you, Mrs. There's a pen coming at you. And the thing is, she's seen me cry. She even told me, it's so good to see you being human, Dawn. It's great to see you cry. And I was like, I'm sorry, it's great to see. She goes, yes, because you're not putting on that facade. And I feel that I'm free to cry in front of Kay. But those people where you feel that you have to put on a pretense are not the people in your space. If you can't be the daft, giggly, opinionated, have a rant, like cry or fall apart, but also rise up and be really silly and giggly, if you can't be all of who you are in the space of the people that are in your space, you need to get rid. You need to do a laundry day. As for knowing your self-worth, I'm going to hand back to Karen in a bit. But again, it's about understanding the fact that when someone said to me, all you do is faff around on boats, sailing around the world, writing books all day. Well, yeah, I do. But when you write a book, whether it's for yourself or whether it's for a client or you're coaching someone to write a book, there's a lot of strategy in that. Every word you write is an understanding of NLP. It's an understanding of the power of that word. It's understanding, okay, well, this element of the book could be great for that market. That element of the book, okay, well, that's for this product range. This is for that. And there's a lot of strategy that goes into writing a book. Huge amounts of strategy. And if you're not willing to place value on all the learning and all the research and who you are and all your life's journey that goes into that, and value yourself accordingly. I had someone once offer me, I was like, if your alcohol bill a year is more than your personal investment bill, then you've got your priorities wrong. If your cigarette bill is higher than your personal development, you're putting more value on toxins in your body than you're placing on all the good juicy stuff. If you're investing more time scrolling through Facebook and on Netflix than you are in your personal development, you're out of balance. And these truths may be not applicable to some people who don't smoke and who don't drink, but we have to look at where the value of drinking comes from. It's a very old, ancient energy and belief and legacy, because when we look at the sanitation of water over the centuries, one of the reasons why we used to drink alcohol and coffees and teas is so that we had to boil the water and process it so that we didn't get contaminated by dirty water. And still today, we are putting all of these poisons in our bodies. And we joke about the fact that, oh, we're saving water, therefore we're drinking wine. And again, it's understanding, the geek in me is coming out, yes, right? It's understanding where all of these legacies come from, all these practices and all these habits and all of these beliefs in our world and in our mind and in our heart and in our energetic field. When we understand where all of these have come from, we know that we've borrowed them from our parents, from religion, from society, from other people who think we should. The Fab Four start coming in again. We should be doing this, we should be thinking this, we should be looking like this, we should be wearing this. There are no shoulds. We just need to come back to who we are and understand who we are and know our worth and what's important to us. Now I'm going to hand back to Karen, because she's now going to be talking to you about, you know, she's talked about the underlying energy, but it's how she's touched on how we assign money, but it's about understanding value. And I'm just going to hand back to Karen for her to, I'm ticking off as I go.
Okie dokie.
Stay on track.
Yeah, so I've introduced you to the Not So Fab Four. And I've told you why, when you do these energies, you're vibrating at an opposite end of the spectrum of abundance, whatever that looks like for you. So I want to take it one step further. You're an infinite being in a body. We have limitless gifts and talents at our disposal. You're infinite. Okay, so when you choose these energies and you choose a less than experience and you don't vibrate abundance, especially when you're spending money on these kinds of energies, the universe isn't going to bring you, isn't going to enjoy bringing you that energy. Like your soul, imagine that your soul, that is the infinite part of you that knows absolutely everything, because it is God. Whatever God looks like for you, it is that inner God spark. It knows that when you choose an energy, when you assign value, either with your time or with your money to a certain energy, that's what you're going to perpetuate, that's what you're going to create. So when it knows that is why you have a contracted experience. Your channel for abundance shuts down, because it knows that when you spend the two powerful commodities of time and money on any of the not so fab four, you're just creating more of that, and that sucks. Again, who wants to be at that party? That party freaking sucks, right? So then you don't get clients, you don't get money in the bank, because when you do, you spend more time doing obligation, spending money on obligation, spending your time on it. Like, supposing you get money and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to hire somebody to support me in my business so I've got more time. So you do that, which is great. You're assigning value to support. And again, money resonates to support. So that's a good thing. But then instead of actually spending that time that you've then created to value yourself and your experience, you just fill it full of more shit and stuff that you don't really want to do.
Look at the nods of the heads.
What's the point? And the unit, and like your soul is like, well, if this is what we do when we get more money and clients, then no, 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 no. We don't want. That's how it works. Okay, you've got to value yourself, because when you value yourself and you value your experience, you vibrate money. You literally vibrate abundance. If it's not money, if abundance looks like something else to you, the principles are exactly the same. They are exactly the same. You have to choose at a physical level that which you want. So if we talk about obligation again, what's the opposite of obligation? The opposite of obligation is freedom. And I have a ton of clients, I've lost count, and it's been my target energy at least 3 times. I've lost count of the amount of clients that I have who, when we do their target energy process, and just so that you know, that's a process so that you can find out what is the energy underneath what you really want. So many entrepreneurs start their business because they're in love with the idea of being financially free. But if you really want freedom, do you honestly think you're going to create freedom by doing a ton of obligation? Of course you're not, because you're vibrating at the wrong level completely. Okay? When you do any of those energies, you are not valuing your experience. And you are the most important person in your experience, the most important person. Your experience is more important than any other person's. And people get caught up in this idea, oh, that's so greedy, that's so selfish, blah, blah, blah. What a load of shit. And let me tell you why that's not true. Because remember, you are an infinite being in a body. You have infinite gifts available to you. You are God. I mean, literally going back a step.
That's blasphemous. How dare you say that, Miss Baines?
How can you be broken? How can you need fixing if you are a divine expression of the universe itself? That is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And when you connect with that part of you and you truly believe that, and I really do hope that everybody that hears this or is here, and I know that certainly the people that I hang out with and that are attracted to me and what I have to say, know that there's a higher power. They know that this isn't it, that it's just not this, that there's a part of us that has been here before a million times in a million different ways and will go on, that this is just this current experience. Okay? So how can you be broken if you are a divine expression of creator? That's absolutely ridiculous. Okay? So from that perspective, that part of you that knows everything, sees everything, is connected. We're all energy, we're all connected. And that part of you knows that about you. I call it soul. Your soul knows that you are connected and everyone's connected. Everyone else has got their own soul. Everyone else has their own version of divinity. So your soul doesn't give a monkey's nut about anybody else's soul, because it knows that everyone else has got their own soul to do their own gifts and create their own experience. Thank you very much. So it's only interested in your own soul and your own experience and what you're doing with it and what you're creating with it. And it knows that when you choose obligation, sacrifice, guilt and resentment, or anything else that sucks, that is actually what you are contributing to the entire freaking planet, because we're all connected. There's no such thing as selfishness and greed, none at all, because when you shrink to fit other people's versions of you, you are just choosing a less than experience. That is all you are doing. And actually that, if there is such a thing as selfishness, that is actually the most selfish thing you can do, because then you are contributing that energy to the planet. That energy that makes you feel like you're not worthy, you don't deserve. that you suck, that you're not
Ripple
enough.
effect.
So you've got to transcend that, because that does not vibrate abundance. This whole thing is all about value. It is all about self-value. I've got a client, and we're talking like she's my highest earning client. I've worked with her on and off. I've been absolutely blessed to have worked with her and seen her go through the various levels of her business, on and off for like 2.5 years it is now. Worked it out the other day. And she's got 7-figure business. It's her second year where she's actually gonna create this 7-figure turnover. And she reached out to me because she was very aware, she was acutely aware that although she has created her dream, she's not acknowledging herself enough. She doesn't acknowledge that she's the creator and the generator of that. And she said, hey, Karen, can you help me? How can I really acknowledge myself more and appreciate myself more? And she said, and while we're at it, I've got another question. How can I open my capacity more to receive? And do you realize how one question unlocks the other? By not actually acknowledging and loving herself unconditionally and realizing that she is the powerful creator and generator of all of the things that she's created, not just an amazing business, but all of the things that she's created. By not acknowledging herself, she's shutting down her ability to receive more, because she's not valuing the most important part and the most important person in that experience. Remember, she is God. Okay? So it's so, like, self-value is everything. But the reason it resonates to money is because money is how we assign value as human beings. And it's also so sacred. It's such a sacred thing because it allows us to do our own divine self-expression. I literally did a live stream about it just now. And I was totally inspired to do it. I wasn't going to do this live. And I thought, you know what? No, I'm going to do it. Because like on Dawn's post, she's listed all of these things that like money doesn't grow on trees and all that. My personal favorite, and the one that I grew up with, my mum used to say it, if she said it, like she said it over and over and over and over again. And she even said it the other day, I heard her. I was like, you're still saying that shit? What is wrong with you? We can't.
Nothing, she's not broken.
She's not broken, but she's very misaligned. We can't afford it. That was literally my mum's mantra. We can't afford it. I can't afford it. We can't afford it. I heard it over. It was like the soundtrack to my freaking life, right? And the thing is, it's just not true. It's only true when you choose that. It takes courage to step out of it. It does. But as soon as you start to choose yourself and put yourself first and value yourself and share yourself and your gifts with other people, that is your divine self-expression. That is what you're designed for. Remember, infinite being in a body. A physical interpretation and expression of God, whatever that looks like, each and every single one of us is just a divine expression of the creator, right? If that's the case, like it literally, whatever it is, wants to experience itself through us. That is divine self-expression. When we've got money, we've got time to be divinely self-expressed. If we've got a pay,
money's a dirty word, Karen.
It might be dirty.
It's the root of all evil.
Oh, that's worse. That is such like, that's such a terrible thing to say.
I know, right? And I grew up with that as well. It's just oh.
One of the most toxic things that you can actually label money. Money is just energy. It's energy that's creational. It's creational energy manifested at a physical level, and it enables us to pay other people to do their gifts so that we've got the time to do ours. If we, like, if I had to get up at 5 o'clock in the freaking morning and milk my cow so that I could take it to market and exchange it for 2 sheep and a box full of vegetables, do you honestly think I'd have the time or the energy to get on here and do a freaking Zoom call with you guys? Of course not, because I'd be knackered. And that's why we created money, because before money, we were bartering, but it meant a life of labour. Now I can pay the people whose gift it is to raise cattle and grow vegetables and all of that stuff, do all the techie stuff that I can't stand doing, that takes up all my time and gets me really funky and cranky. So I can come here and do this. And this is my divine self-expression. Without money, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, but how do you pay for these people, Karen? You know, if you haven't got the money, and then you have like these wonderful people come onto your team, and then again you're scaling up, because obviously you've got to spend money to make money. And another big one that we heard growing up. And this is the thing, is like in seeps obligation, and it's about how we process that, because you know, we can't expect people to do things for us for free. We need to pay them. And then we come into it and we have to work through all of this. Now, I've been going through that myself, because obviously as my business grows and I need to take on new people to actually free me up to do my divine gift of expression through writing and speaking, you know, I have these, you know, and it's like, okay, I have this that I need to pay for, I have this I need to pay for, I have this I need to, and it's like all this need to pay, and then obligation seeps in, and it's like, well, okay, well, I've got to do more because I'm paying out more, I've got to do more, and it's like this vicious circle. But then again, it's like you were saying, you know, what are we doing in the time, and how are we valuing that time, and how are we valuing ourselves, so that we can gift ourselves more? And if we're bringing people onto our team and we're resenting that, or we're feeling like a heavy burden, oh my God, now I've got to really show up, now I've really got to make more money, now I've really got to pull my weight and work extra hours, and now like just, you know, we get into that cycle, which I know that Karen can help. I mean, the stuff that you've been talking about is so valuable for so many of us, and you've touched on a few things there, like the whole thing about like the self-worth. How many mothers go through the mummy martyrdom of serving their children first, of dragging themselves down, and being, you know, we charge our mobile phones more than we recharge ourselves. We put the obligation of paying other people first before we pay ourselves. We make sure that the kids have got the new trainers, they've got the new clothes. We make sure that the boiler is fixed. We make sure that there's money to fix the car. But when we say, okay, well, I want that for myself, or, you know, I want to go and get a new wardrobe, or I want to take on a new team member, we never really, or we want to invest in a course, or we want to invest in a coach. There's never enough money for that, because that's for us. But there's always money for a car repair. There's always money for a boiler to be repaired. There's always money for that school trip. There's always money for alcohol and cigarettes and takeaways and TV channel subscriptions and whatever else that comes into that field. But what we're actually failing to realize is we have a lot of assets that we've actually created over the years. And we've got and when I talk of assets, like there's either, for myself, there's so much content I've created over the years, and it's how do I bundle all of that up and then sell that? What platforms am I using where I can now sell more things? So for example, those of us who create videos, Vimeo is a great channel. YouTube is a great channel. If you want lots of advertising, go down the YouTube channel. If you want a professional advert-free space, then go down Vimeo. You can sell your videos one at a time on Vimeo. Is that happening? Can you bundle up all of these trainings that you do and then sell them? We've all got so much in our space. Some of our homes are cluttered with stuff, which is trapping all of this energy, and we're hanging on to all this stuff from the past. We're hanging on to clothes that no longer serve us. I mean, unless you're in South America and you can't go shopping because no shops open, but there we go, right? But there's all of this stuff that's happening around us, you know, whether we are scaling up or whether we are looking at, you know, ending our corporate career to go into setting up a business, or whether we want to change careers and we're absolutely done with the job that we've got, but we want to move into a different industry, or, you know what, we want to move house, we want to walk away from a relationship, or, you know, but how am I going to work that on my own as a single parent? You know, what happens if I want to move house or buy a new car because this one is broken, I'm just paying money after bad, you know, and there's all of these things that go on in our space, and we're all living in our head. And it's like Karen says, we need to get all of that out, which is one of the reasons why I encourage the journaling. But one of the things that I've realized, and one of the things that I've started to do, is I've always, as I said at the beginning of this, maths was never my strong subject at school. Never, really. Again, like I was like, well, I got it, but I didn't get it. I got the addition and the subtraction and the division, but you bring in algebra and Pythagoras theorem, and you bring in like all that other stuff, which I've had to learn now for sailing. Like, talk about have to go back and learn the base. My son teaches me stuff in maths. I mean, I look at his maths homework. I mean, he does further maths. I'm like, okay, I have really got no idea what you're talking about. You could be talking completely different language. Oh, he is maths. Okay, but the thing is, when we understand it and we stop saying, I'm no good at maths, or I don't understand this, one of the ways in which I've used what I call the rounding up and rounding down process is when money comes into my account, I round it down. I round it down to a nice round number. I like a bit of curviness. It's all a bit voluptuous and sexy. You know, and when we've got these nice round numbers to work with, when the money is coming in, let's say, for example, I know I've got the Ice 52 yacht here. That's just stuck there, just to remind me of where I'm going, what I'm doing. Sorry, it's a vision board, but not so much. But it's reality. But let's say that's an Ice 52. What I would do is I would round that down. If $52 came into my account, I would round that down to 50. If $52 went out of my account, I would round that up to 60. Now people are like, what? Hey? But what this does is that helps me manage my money in a sense that, oh, okay, well, that's gone into savings. Okay, that much has gone into a savings pot. That actually helps me create a freedom pot or an education pot. And for me, the freedom is the freedom of choice. The freedom, some of you don't know, but I'm sailing around the world, although I'm not sailing at the moment because we can't go anywhere. There's no resentment there. It's just, it is what it is. I'm just reframing it that I'm waiting for the trade winds and, you know, the winds of change, as we say. But the thing is, when that freedom pot is there, or we have got a pot of money that we can just tap into, if anything happens to my parents or to my boys and I need an emergency flight home, I can go, right, well, the money's there. If I need healthcare, that money is there. You know what? If I just want to go to the spa for the day, I've got that pot of money there. If I want to go and invest in a course, I've got the money in my education pot. You know, when we start rounding up and rounding down, if we do struggle with calculating things, that removes the pressure. That removes a struggle. And it's all about removing all of these negatives that are in our mind, all this resistance that's in our space. So it's about understanding how we are feeling when it comes to doing our tax return. I fired my accountant about 18 months ago. And that was one of the best things I had ever done, because every time, and again, this comes back to who's coming to our party, every time I got a message from that woman, I was like, oh God, what drama's going on in her life now? Like, oh, did she really just send me another message going on? And I was like, there's an energetic leak in my business. And I was looking at everybody that was in my business. I was looking at myself. Okay, where's my energetic leak? Is it my own self-belief that I've got this? Is it that somebody else is attached to my business? So I've just I'll come back to your note in a second, Erica. But the thing is, when we look at how we feel about money, it's time to get real with ourselves. Are we resenting that we're spending this and this and this and this and this and this and this, or we haven't, I don't know how to figure it out? Tap into it. If you haven't got enough money left at the end of the month, then you need to be looking at the different income streams that you've got. Again, it's about looking at the assets that you've got. You've got money left on the table, every single one of us, whether it's in our skills, our experience, whether it's things in our home. There is something everywhere for us to tap into. And one of the reasons why my ex-husband and I used to argue, because he was one of the people go, right, we've got this much money. What can I get for this? And I'm the complete opposite. I'm like, right, what do I want? Where do I want to go? How am I going to do it? Right, let's go do that. When I got divorced and became a single mum, and the court case in Scotland hit, which you can read about in my book, Crossing the Line, that's out there. You can learn all about that. But when that hit, I remember like, right, I want to build this business. Everyone kept saying to me, get a job, get a job. I'm like, I don't want a job. Oh my God, I can't think of anything worse than having a job. Like, oh my God, I'd worked for myself since I was, I don't even, like 20. I didn't want a job. I didn't want to serve other people and make them money in the sense of a job, because I know that I give 100%. I love serving people, but I knew that they would never gift me, and I say gift, they would never gift me as much as I would gift myself in a constraint of working for them. And this is why I never say to people who work with me, this is how much I'm going to pay you. It's all about, again, if you work for someone else, how much is what you're doing worth to them and their business? How much is it worth? When I started building my business, I remember a friend of mine, he used to deliver magazines and leaflets. I was like, oh, I know. Dun, dun, dun. I was like, right, I'll help you deliver your leaflets and your magazines if I can include my leaflets, my business into the magazine drops. He was like, all right then, bonus. I got paid to market my business. I got paid to walk my dogs. I got paid to go off on a mad adventure with my boys, because the boys would come with me. And what we would do is they would deliver one side of the street, I would deliver the other, we would have a race, we made it fun. Okay, so I was getting paid to market my business. Back in the day when I had a business networking organization across the UK, we had over 20 locations. People thought I was crazy for setting up a business networking organization whilst I also had another business. But the thing is, I was charging a membership fee to be part of this network. I was networking with people at all of these different networking organizations. We built this business. So I was getting paid to go and stand in front of all of these people week in, week out. I was getting paid to learn from these seasoned entrepreneurs, and I was getting paid to market my business. I didn't need a marketing budget because I was getting paid one. And again, this is what I'm saying. Look at what assets you've got in your business and how you can utilize and multitask. It's about working smarter, not working harder. And again, that's why I was saying, you know, when you've got these rounding up and rounding downs and you're looking at your assets, what is it that you can bring into your business? And again, This is why I look at business strategy for the people who work with me, either as an author or as a startup. Where can we take you, and how can we scale your business further? And this is where Karen comes in, the scaling of our business and how we actually do that step change and how we can create more abundance within our life. So I'm going to hand back to Karen now, because she's going to talk to you about balance sheets as in the way of money, life, happiness, and you versus others, or that's what I've got on my list anyway. She might take us off on a different tangent,
Yeah,
but I'm going to hand back over.
I'm gonna pull up something that you mentioned that is one of the ways that I coach my clients, and you've kind of mentioned it yourself. Like, first and foremost, you've got to find what works for you. You've got to find the way that works for you, that feels good for you. Like Dawn already touched on it. The energy underneath her relationship with her accountant was actually getting in the way of what it was supposed to be creating.
Absolutely.
Right? You get rid of it. There's always a more aligned way of doing anything. Anything that we desire, anything that we truly want, is just a signal from our soul that it's available. Often those signals come in by showing us, by highlighting what we don't want, because it feels it, because it sucks. So it's like, okay, this sucks. So if this sucks, what do I want? What would be better? And often it's releasing something that's old and no longer serves us, so that we've got the space for the new to come in. A new aligned way of doing something. It's, remember, money, abundance, whatever that looks like, is just a happy byproduct of alignment. So it's all about finding out what processes work for you. How you manage your money, the easiest way possible, the most effective way possible, but it is important. Money management is really important. Even if you're completely, even if it feels, if it's one of those things because you're like a creative and it feels really uncomfortable, money management is really important because money resonates energetically to responsibility and power. And you have a responsibility to take care of your money and know what you're doing with it, where it's coming from, where it's going, managing it in an aligned, effective way. Okay, so you've got to find the way that works for you. And one of the other things that Dawn mentioned was these pots. I call them money pots. So you're the most important person in your experience, remember. You've got to pay yourself first. You've got to either use the rounding up and rounding down method that Dawn talked about, or assign a percentage of your income. Start baby steps. If it's new to you, if this way of thinking and this way of doing is new, then start with baby steps, maybe 1%, 2%, 3%, that you allocate to a pot that is yours. And it's for what you want. It's not to go back in your business. It's not to pay a bill that turns up. It's to assign value to something that you really want in your experience, something that really lights you up. Because then energetically you're saying to the universe, I choose me. I choose me. I assign value with my money to me, because I am the most important person. And the universe responds to that with, yes, you choose you. The universe chooses you. Your clients choose you. Here are more clients so that you can continue to choose you on what you want, right? So that's one of the first things that you can do at a very practical level. I want to kind of flip back again to our not so fab four family. So the guys you don't want at your party. You got that obligation. And I've already talked about how obligation is the opposite vibration to freedom, which is what you say you want. Quite often it's what you say you want. If you're in overwhelm, you want to be free. If you're feeling contracted, you just want freedom. You want money so you can do what you like, right? Freedom. So if you've currently got a life or a business or anything going on, and all you seem to have is obligation everywhere you're looking, it's popping up everywhere. Now you need to start detoxing your life of obligation. You've got to start uninviting the party guests of obligation, inviting more freedom in. And what that looks like is you've got to stop doing the things that suck. You've got to start asking yourself, well, how can I do this in an easier way, in a more effortless way? Can I let go of it completely? Do I really need it in my life? Can I streamline it? Can I delegate it? Can I automate it? But you have got to do something about it, not go and journal about it and vision board about it and imagine it being better and then go and doing it anyway. That does not work. It doesn't work, because we create through a process of choice and consequence. When we make a choice, the energy underneath the choice is directly reflected back at us with the energy that is underneath the consequence that that choice creates. We do something, it has an energy. The universe reads it, it says yes, it brings us a consequence that vibrates at exactly that same energy, right? So if you imagine that everything in your life right now that is or isn't working as you perceive it is a consequence of all the choices that you're making, which therefore means you're already living in the past. Your current situation is a direct result of previous choices you've made, either misaligned or aligned. So you can't go and happy thought, think and change your attitude and carry on doing what you've always done, because what you've always done doesn't vibrate to where you say you want to be. Otherwise, you'd already be there. It wouldn't be where you want to be, it'd be where you were. So you've got to start doing things differently. You've got to uninvite obligation and invite freedom. Ask yourself, how can I choose freedom? Look around at your experience. Detox obligation. Okay? Same with sacrifice. Now, sacrifice, the energy of sacrifice, you're giving your power away. Remember, money resonates to responsibility and power. Abundance resonates to responsibility and power. When you're sacrificing what you want, when you're saying, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough to step up and expand so others feel, I'm going to shrink to fit. When you're doing that, you are stepping out of your power. So the energy you want to look at, if you've got sacrifice, if you're doing a lot of sacrifice and a lot of sacrifice is showing up, empowerment. How can I choose a more empowered version of this? How can I choose empowerment today? It doesn't even have to be directly connected with that which you say you want to create, because the universe doesn't compartmentalize at all. When you start choosing empowerment, you will be delivered more opportunities to choose empowerment. That is the law. Obligation begets obligation, sacrifice begets sacrifice, freedom begets freedom, empowerment begets empowerment. And it actually happens very, very quickly. You'll start to see it happening very, very quickly. Okay?
I can absolutely testify to that.
Yeah. Sometimes overnight, sometimes literally in hours.
Mm.
Yeah, sometimes.
And this is the thing, it's like, I mean, I do take my clients on a guided meditation and I get them to, okay, imagine this. I want you to, when we're in that space, and let's create a picture with, like, in our mind, what's those feelings that come up for you when this is happening, when this is real? Whenever you have aligned that energy and you felt that energy, you felt that joy, or you felt that lift, whenever you feel struggle, it's about, okay, tapping back into that. We call it anchoring. And I know that some of the things that, I mean, not all of us are going to agree on how we attract money. And there will be people who are in my space that go, well, you're talking absolute rubbish. She's like, yeah, but look at where you've come from. A lot of the people that have gone from making not a lot of money to millions a month, they've had a very comfortable life. But again, it's about your distance traveled and the journey that you've been on, and valuing your own journey and your own experiencing. And like Karen says, when you're able to just tap into that and actually do the work, and get everything in alignment and actually own who you are and forget about what other people have to say about you, that is where the real joy comes from. And remember, when we allow other people's judgments of us to impact us, instead of owning who we are and owning our power and owning who we truly are and our true gifts, when we allow other people to judge us and we then take what they think of us, negative or positive, we are assigning more power to them. We're making them the judge and the controller over us. And I've always said, never let squatters live in your head rent free. You know, like we've all had that at some point along our journey. You know, whether it's the way we look, whether it's the way we dance at a wedding, whether it's the way we, like, you know, I mean, I'm not a hair kind of dressing up kind of girl. It's either down or in a ponytail or in a messy bun. I'm trying to do a French plait in my hair. My God, my sister though, oh my God, that looks amazing. My sister is so girly. I am not. There was a lot of judgment, a lot of comparison between me and my sister. I used to be the fat, ugly one, and she was always a really, really pretty one. I grew up with that. And again, you know, Karen was saying, it's all about all these journeys that we've had along our way. And it's about taking the strength from that, the belief in that, because we're here right now. We are amazing. We woke up today. We have got a new opportunity to start today in any way we choose. Whatever we choose to believe about ourselves will come true. If we believe we can't do it, guess what? We're not going to be able to do it. Again, it's about that energy that's tapped underneath it. Now, one of the things that I wanted to just, I mean, if any of you, because we've only got 8 minutes left, if there are any questions that any of you have got, or if there's any final points that you would like to make, Karen, or if you'd all like to come off mute. But one thing I want to leave you with, and you'll see that we've used a lot of the cosmic energy and like all the nebulas in the marketing for this, and I tend to use that a lot, because we hear this thing that sky is the limit. Well, the sky is made up of 7 spheres. Beyond that is the cosmos. Beyond that is black holes and wormholes, and there's so many different galaxies. And if we're then limiting ourselves to either thinking outside of the box instead of burning the box, like I like to do, the sky is not the limit. The only limit is the way we believe about ourselves. The only limit is what we impose upon ourselves or allow others to impose upon us. So, Karen, is there anything that you want to leave them with, or any questions from anybody? You can all come off mute if you like. I can see Ona and Sarah have come off mute.
I'm open to answer any questions. I'm all good. If anybody's got any questions, then shoot.
Really want me to get started?
Yeah.
Because I've got a massive list. No one else is jumping in here. No one else is jumping in.
Wow.
First of all, I noticed you've been recording this. Are we able to get a copy? Because you spoke way too fast at one point, and as you've seen, I was like trying to sort the kids out, and I was like trying to take notes, feed the dog, do the cooking, do the pots at the same time. Only because I've got that much training going on again this afternoon in add-on groups and stuff. It's just today's bedlam. Being obviously, you all know,
will be a replay. There will be a replay.
The last day of the month is just chaotic.
See all these obligations she's got going on.
I know.
I don't think I've said it already.
Didn't invite me to America, will you? Did you? I don't even know what I was going to say now. Yeah. So just basically, like, if you've got the recording, obviously, I know your inbox is always opened on, and you'll be having floods of messages off me now with questions. But yeah, I'm going to read back over these notes. And massive thank you before, if you've only got a couple of minutes left, because I've got rucks of notes from what I did manage to grab in that short time, really. So thank you.
You're welcome. The recording will be available. I think we're going to make it available in on Dawn's like page and whatever. So absolutely, you'll get it. Yeah.
Yeah, it will be sent out to all of those who registered, and it will be sent out. So yeah, made available.
All good.
Great.
Nalika, Emma, Lani, Any questions, my darlings?
No, I think I asked enough.
Yeah.
No, honestly, you asked some really great questions, especially the shared power, the shared money responsibility things. Or I would always recommend, I mean, if it's in a personal relationship, always have your own money pot. Maybe combine one for household bills, but always have your own money. Independent, and you know, keep your, if it's a business, might be slightly different, but again, you know, if it's a negative relationship, then maybe you need to consider walking away from that business partnership and going in a different direction, or staying in your own direction but just by yourself or with someone else. Lani.
Yeah, I have a question about pots. Not pot,
Okay.
pots. Money pots.
Hey, that's all good.
So, how do you do the rounding up, rounding down? Do you put that in like a separate account? Like, how do you manage your pots? Is it
Okay, well, I have
or something like that?
It depends on your bank account, and how you've got that set up, and whether it's, I mean, I don't use high street banks. I have online banking. My own personal account, automatically, every transaction I make, that automatically puts a percentage of whatever I spend into my money pots. I had it set up like that. Okay. In my business account, because I use TransferWise, what I have is you can set up international accounts in seconds. It's amazing. And that just keeps all the different currencies in my account. So every time I make a transaction, it will take from each of the money pots. It also makes it easier for my clients. But again, there is a percentage of all of that. Every transaction goes into a separate pot. You can, at the end of each month, say, right, or when your wages come in, or when your income comes in, every time something goes bing in your bank account, it's the only notification I have on my phone. I do not have any Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I have no notifications on my phone ever. That's why some people get frustrated with me. I messaged you 10 minutes ago. I'm like, well, I was busy working on my business. Sorry. Or I was on a mama call. My life, my rules. But the only notifications I get is whenever something drops into my account, that then I assign, or I put a certain percentage of that into a separate bank account or into a savings account. Like I said, I have my freedom pot, I have my education pot, and I have my mama pot. The mama pot is the pot that is there for when the boys come out to visit me wherever I am in the world, and we go off and have these mad, crazy adventures. Like, and thanks to the quarantine, that money pot is filling up, and like the boys are like, oh my God, Mum, we're gonna go do this, and we're gonna do this. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting scared. I'm creating, like, so you can either have it set up automatically, or you can do it. I mean, I would say as soon as the money comes into your account, before you've assigned it to all your bills, Karen may disagree with me on this, but for me, as soon as that money comes in, it's like, okay, what do I need to pay out? But first, I'm going to put a certain percentage, because you know what's coming in, or at least you should do. You should know what's coming into your account, and then you assign a percentage of that into, whether it's 10%, 25%. If you're lucky, you can go to 50%. You know, make sure if you've got a target you want to get to. But again, there are some bank accounts where every transaction you make, it will then remove or assign something into a money pot for you. Any other questions?
Can't think of any off the top of my head. No.
Say that again.
I said I can't think any off the top of my head right now.
That's
I did
cool.
have something, but it's totally gone.
Okay, well, as no one else has got any questions, I just really like to thank you for joining us today. It's been an absolutely fantastic hour and a half. There will be a recording available. And thank you so much for Karen for joining us and bringing your expertise to this.
Oh, I remembered one. Sorry.
Go on then. Just one more.
I think it was Karen that had mentioned it. What was them 4 things? Resentment, guilt, obligation, and what?
Obligation, sacrifice, resentment, and guilt.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If any of you want to find out more about anything that we do, there is a multiple income streams training that I offer. Karen, as we've said throughout this, she works on like money alignment and strategies. This is the work that we do. Those people that want to jump on and do the Phoenix Rising Challenge, you do get my multiple income streams training at a much reduced rate. It should be 277, but I offer it at 77. Those of you who have jumped on here, we're also offering that at 77. But you've heard what we do, you've seen what we do. There's no big sales pitch. This is it. If you want to work with us or find out more, then come speak to us. But we just want to say thank you. This information is there for you to use, to share. And if there's anything that you'd like to ask us individually, then do let us know. We're here to serve people and help raise the vibration of the planet, and to make sure that there's a lot more happiness and joy, glitter and sparkle in the world, and just to see more people smiling. So yeah, anything else, Karen?
Just thank you for showing up for yourselves. Thank you for assigning value with your time to what we've had to say today, and absolutely go forth and create more abundance just by choosing you. That's the most important thing. The definition of alignment is you choose you, and money is a happy byproduct of that. It's all you got to do. Start with baby steps if necessary, but
no baby steps. Did you not see my interview the other day? We're not babies. We're not babies. We don't do baby steps.
People need baby steps. Sometimes that's how they're wired. You leave
Try walking like a baby. They don't even walk. You don't get anywhere.
That's not true.
They crawl. They get forward.
Just make sure, baby steps or quantum leaps, you make sure that you do it. Whatever that looks like, you make sure you do it. Okay?
Mwah. Right then, ladies, thank you all so much. Have an amazing day or evening wherever you are. Go be you, go do you, and yeah, just enjoy. Ciao for now.
Bye. Love. Bye. Bye.